I'm calling about a past due balance on your account. Episode 3. I'd know if I were possessed, right? By JamFranz. I work for a special collections agency, and I don't think our customers are human. Hey guys, sorry for the lack of updates. It's been a rough 2 weeks. A co-worker dissolved last week, so we've been sort of all in a panic. Yes, you read that correctly. Her name was Annie, and she was on the phone 1 minute, the next she was melting into the fabric of her chair. I didn't know her, but she sounded like a nice lady, and my thoughts are with her family. I got a call around 3 a.m. that morning. It was my boss, and he had a hint of distress in his voice that I had never heard from him before when he asked if I could come in. He mentioned they were having a personnel emergency. I could hear what sounded like hissing and screaming in the background. She had been with the company for years and had so much experience. It was a somber reminder that what we do truly can be dangerous and why our call centre job has hazard pay. Apparently, the caller received a multi-lifetime ban from our reality. When I hear these kind of phrases, I honestly just try not to think too hard about them so I can sleep at night. Something happened to another employee before I started. I filled their position, but Jam told me these were the first 2 fatalities he's seen in his 3 decades of work here. I would have only guessed he were in his mid-20s, but that's a different topic for another day. Well, on a slightly less sad note, now that I've been here for about a month, I've been getting to see a bit more of the normal day-to-day business. For example, on the 3rd Thursday of each month, the lady from HR sits down across from you, grips your wrists tightly, and stares into your eyes from about 6 inches away from your face. Apparently, that's a company-mandated monthly check to make sure we haven't been replaced. I also learned that quarterly, a ritual was performed to keep the physical location of the building hidden from malevolent entities, human and otherwise. To be totally honest, when I came into work to see the altar, skulls, unlike any animal I'd ever seen before, candles and chalice, and my co-workers standing in my office with a ceremonial knife, I pretty much assumed that I was being sacrificed. Turns out the ritual requires just a small blood donation from each of us, which is then poured over a phone book. The book turned black, I was given a phrase to chant, and then the team leads plunged the knife into the phone book. It turned to dust, they cheered, and we went back to work. I did have another unique call, where instead of a script, it had just the notes and instructions. Note: ask another employee that you trust for assistance in calling the Watcher. Place your enclosed item in your left palm and close your fingers around it. All 5 fingers and your palm must remain in contact with the object during your transition to assure your safe passage. Find and enter sub-basement plot 3B. Remove shoes if they may impede your ability to run. Remind your co-worker that they will need to unbury you after exactly 4 minutes and 15 seconds. As co-worker begins to cover you in the 3-to-1 ratio of soil to red clay, speak the words, "I am placing a collect call." If the call was successful and you regain consciousness, you will have the payment in your right hand. You may encounter lingering thoughts that are not your own upon wakening. If this is the case, do not be alarmed. Simply write the messages down and bring the written notes to your supervisor. The word "if" in front of regain consciousness had me a bit concerned, but I had a job to do and cautiously wandered into the atrium between our offices. "Could someone please assist me in calling the Watcher?" I asked timidly. Lots of eyes were on me, but no one answered. I thought maybe I'd said the wrong thing and started flipping back through my notes, but thankfully Jam sprung out of his office and volunteered. He kept shooting me concerned glances on the way down to the sub-basement though. Honestly, it wasn't too bad. I never thought I'd be buried alive at work or otherwise, but it really did go off without a hitch. I didn't have any messages from the watcher, which sort of relieved me. They just paid, I assume, based on the small platinum bar I was clutching when I came to. And then I awoke to Paul Jam shoveling the dirt off me. He seemed relieved that I was alive, which, looking back, isn't super comforting. I spent the rest of the day finding dirt in my clothes and hair, but it definitely wasn't my worst call. I've dealt with human customers that were way worse in my old position. The honour of the worst call last week, and possibly worst call ever, went to one I made while helping cover Annie's shift at night. This was the file I was given. Hello Daja, my name is, insert your first name, with the Green Vista Group. I am calling to confirm that you would like to continue your yearly subscription for our continued assistance in keeping that which lies within you in a dormant state. Note, if customer speaks clearly and with only one voice, the creature remains bound and dormant. Please proceed to help customers set up a payment plan for their subscription if they wish to do so. If customer speaks with multiple voices and you feel the room around you begin to vibrate, the creature may no longer be dormant. Repeat, Ux on avatad, kutsun tied sisi, 3 times. From what I have been told, one of the team leads on the night shift came by while I was slumped back in my chair with my eyes rolled back in my head and foam coming from my mouth. She apparently shouted the things I was supposed to have said at me. All I know is one moment I was on the call, the next a middle-aged woman wearing a cat-patterned vest over a flowery sequined sweatshirt was clutching my shoulders and shaking me. Her name is Sandy, and she terrifies me a bit. As I was coming to, she let me go and snatched the file off my desk. Her eyes narrowed as she glared at me. As she flipped through it though, her expression softened. Well, I'll be. Where did you get this? She asked quietly. It was on my desk with my other files, I whispered, wiping at my mouth with my sleeve. Was that a demon? She laughed. That's cute, hun. I wish we dealt with things as innocuous as demons. Hesitantly, I asked, Can I ask what would have happened if you hadn't intervened? Someone gave you the wrong incantation, dear. Instead of forcing it to remain dormant, you were inviting it in and would have been bound as the new host. You don't want to host something like that, I promise you. You'd eat everything and everyone around you. If you ran out of food, you'd start eating yourself. She wasn't sure how long I had been out for, so she recommended to me and to HR that they do a yearly dormancy incantation on me too, just in case it got in without us noticing. The good news is that that's apparently covered in our employee benefits. The experience, and that I may be possessed, sort of ruined my day, so she made me some tea in the break room and then sent me home for the night. I like Sandy, even if she did tell me if I was ever looking to be a willing vessel, to give her a call first. I'm a much better guest than most, I promise. She winked at me. The fact that we've had recent deaths and that someone had given me notes was such a huge error is worrisome. I wonder if that is what happened to Annie, and part of me wonders if it's intentional. Last time, I mentioned my mirror troubles, and I appreciate the notes you guys gave me about the silvery liquid. I was honestly so embarrassed about my slip-up that I was debating just trying to clean it up without telling anyone, but I took your advice and I did let my boss know. They put brick over that entire wall, and I've lost my mirror privileges. But we haven't had any issues for a while at least. Well, until this morning when I opened my desk drawer and I found a hand mirror and a note. It started with some strange symbols and said, Call me, not here. So, all in all, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm actually considering calling. If nothing terrible happens, I'll provide more updates soon. Oh, and I'd know if I were possessed, right? I just want to thank JamFranz for allowing me to narrate that story. If you liked what you heard here, head over to their Reddit page and show them some love. I'll leave a link for the original story in the description below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and as always, stay tuned for one more nightmare.